How's it going, everybody? And welcome to another session of the Let's Talk Show by Interlingua. I am Mike, your host for this occasion. And today we're going to do a little bit of a twist for today. Since the topic lent itself to layering, for the first time ever in the Let's Talk Show, I give you the format, the 3 stages of hell. 3 different situations, 3 different outcomes, many possibilities, many theories, many solutions, many what ifs. We will talk about 3 different situations. Some of our guests have experienced them. Some of our guests don't want to experience those at all, and some of them are even theorized by our guests today. Speaking of our guests, let's bring them out. Coming back to the Let's Talk Show, we have Erich, we have Maripaz, we have Carmen via satellite. How you guys doing? Hello.
Hey. Hi.
Hi, guys. Welcome to the Let's Talk round table of the 3 stages of hell. But let's escalate a little bit. For our diehard fans, viewers who tune in every single week, they know that I like a little build-up for the grand finale or for the big conclusion, or before I pull up the big guns. So let's cover first the simple situation, which I like to call when things go wrong. When things go wrong. A little bit of an introduction. Sometimes we take things for granted. Sometimes we guarantee that things are going to come out the way we want them to, or the way we plan them to. But then life has its ways to tell us, no, I'm the guy, you're just playing in my yard. Sometimes things fall apart. Sometimes things don't go as planned. Some of them have uncomfortable consequences, and some of them have drastic and unpleasant consequences. Our main link for this situation is Erich, because I understand you had a similar situation where it all fell to pieces. Could you please tell us about it?
Yeah, sure. We took a trip to Oaxaca once, and several things went wrong. For example, the bus broke down like 1 hour before we got to our destination. And that wasn't so bad because there was some like public transportation, like some pickups. So we just went there. But the issue was that we went camping at the beach and everything was fine. We were having fun and stuff until one of my friends got into the tent searching for some socks or something like that. And he was stung by a scorpion on his finger, right? There weren't any clinics around. The closest one was like 3 hours away. So the people from the town just told him to eat the scorpion. So we had to look for it. We captured it. The person just got the stinger, and then he was like, eat it. So my friend ate the scorpion, and then a lady made some sort of green milkshake that had a terrible smell. I have no idea what it was, but she had my friend drink it. And then my friend had a fever. She was having hallucinations. We could hear him breathing, no, because his throat was closing. We could hear like, no. And he was like that for, I don't know, like 6 hours. And then he just said, I'm fine, I'm going to sleep. And then he went to sleep like for 12 continuous hours. And he survived. He was fine, but it was a pretty scary situation.
Clearly. Totally.
Thankfully. So, Carmen, let's say that you were the one who got stung by the scorpion. Let's say that you were the one who was meant to eat the scorpion. Would you have done it?
I think I would have done it, like I would have the scorpion. But I don't know, probably I mean, like I don't know if that would actually happen, no, but if we are like super, super dramatic, probably I think I would have fainted, or something, because I get stressed and scared super easily, So if it and also like I am a kind of a baby when it comes to pain and illness and things like that. So I would have fainted because of the pain, because of the fear, because of the fever or something, no? So,
Okay.
Yes, that's probably, I think that would have happened to me. And I think I would have eaten the scorpion, maybe. Yes. No, I would have been like super scared, like, I don't know, Eric. I suppose that if I don't know if your friend told you about it later on, but if he thought that he was actually going to die, but I definitely would have thought that,
Yeah, he was really scared.
Well,
Totally. Maribas, imagine if you were in Eric's shoes in that situation. Yes, you weren't going to eat the scorpion. You weren't the one stung. However, you were in the middle of nowhere without any close help. How would you have handled the situation? How would you have felt living that?
I feel it can be a little bit uncomfortable. But of course, I would have gotten ready. Now, when the adrenaline hits and you have to do something about it, when your friends, your family are in danger, you just do what you've got to do. So maybe I would have shoved the scorpion in my friend's mouth, like, I want you to survive. Eat the Scorpio, I don't care. And that's what I would have done, because and maybe when it was under control, I would have gone to another close by town or house or whatever to find more help, because I think that was needed. Maybe a second opinion, another shaman's opinion.
Alrighty. All right.
I'll look for adventures like that. I like when reality.
Fair enough. Hypothetically speaking, I think, whoever had the responsibility, things would have worked out the way they did in Eric's case. That, yes, of course, his friend got hurt, but he lived to tell the tale. Now, let's move on to the next stage, which is facing natural disasters. When disaster strikes our main link for this situation, Maripaz. Tell me, Maripaz, is there a natural disaster that you are really, really afraid? And have you lived one yourself?
Not really. I am more of a city person. I'm a city girl, so the
Okay.
earth I will lived through is the earthquake. The earthquake we had on September 19 that everyone remembers. And I was very calm through that. I think I didn't do much. Everyone was in a panic, but I was like, oh, another earthquake in Mexico City. That's the only.
However, do you feel very susceptible about others? For example, it was very talked about the active volcano in Puebla. It was a state of emergency around the populations that surrounded the volcano. Is there any natural disaster that you really, really, really would not want to happen? A volcano eruption, a tsunami, why not a hurricane, a very heavy rain, electrical storm?
I think you have to be ready. To be honest, I am never ready. I never made my backpack when we were waiting for another earthquake. I never had my backpack with my stuff ready. Never ever.
All right.
And my friends were like, "Why don't you have your backpack?" I have two, and I really think that you have to adapt to the situation. Maybe we should be more scared of things like, biohazardous things. I was just talking to Eric about how the bacteria, these same bacteria that we have made very resistant to antibiotics, can now travel through the clouds and then rain in a totally different area. So if you have a really deadly bacteria that could kill a lot of people, probably, I think we should be more scared of that. And animals, of course, like plagues. I don't know, like here in the city, rats, bats, tlacuaches, because that is way more scary.
So more than natural disasters, you're afraid of natural beings making disasters. Interesting take. I honestly had no idea that was now actually possible. The bacteria rain. I'm like, oh my God. And I love the rain, so I'm very vulnerable to that one because I like to go out and you're like, yeah, Shawshank Redemption and stuff. But
Mike will be the patient zero. Oh, the first victim. Yeah.
I would be the Borat in real life. Guys, she said it. That is an outcome. So good thing that we're behind a monitor. It's not raining still, but it could be. However, I was surprised by the way she mentioned how she handled a seismic activity, because there have been a lot of people throughout my life that I've seen that with the slightest shake, it doesn't even have to be a seismic shake. Maybe the structure of the building they're at has hydraulics, and sometimes it's very sensitive to outer movement. That's enough to make them crack. That's enough to make them really worried, really paranoid. Carmen, do you consider yourself a person like that, or how do you react to seismic activity?
Well, I don't know. For example, now recently I got a film projector. Like, well, of course, one for the house, not like a professional one. And sometimes I hit the place where it's placed. I don't know. Okay. And it moves, no, a little bit. So you can see the screen moving or the light moving. And I always get scared. So now it's like, oh, is there an anchor? And then it's like, no, it's only the screen, no? So it's like that moment I get like a little bit scared, no? But it's like strange because when there has been an actual earthquake, it's like I don't feel like I panic, I normally, it's like, I mean, I try to go out as soon as I can, no, and that's it. But I mean, it's probably because I have been lucky enough to be in relatively safe places when earthquakes happen, So, for example, once I was in my bedroom on the first floor, so I didn't have to go downstairs or anything. All the earthquakes I have experienced were on first floors, so it was like not so bad. But for example, I think that now, if there were an earthquake like right now, that I am on the fourth floor, I would be much more scared, like, like what do I do, and that's it. Yes, but for example, you mentioned the volcano thing. I live in Puebla, no? So for example, around 2 or 3 months ago, just for the record, we are on July now. The ashes were pretty bad, no? And I mean, for example, the news or some people on news were saying that the situation would go like that for like a couple of months, maybe 6 months or something like that, no? So I was like, oh my God, I cannot live like that for 6 months, no? Because it was horrible, horrible, horrible. You couldn't do anything, you couldn't go outside. Everything was closed again, no? And not only that, but for example, no, when the pandemic hit, it's like, okay, you couldn't go to crowded places, but you could go to parks or, sorry, my cat arrived. Like empty places, but in that moment, you couldn't go like anywhere. And everything was gray and so depressing, no? So I honestly consider, and also, for example, we took online classes again. And I was like, okay, if this continues like that, I could move to another place, not temporarily. In that moment, I have the opportunity, let's say, to go to Tabasco. So I was like, if this continues, I will go there. No, I mean, and Tabasco is terribly hot. But it's like it's worth it. It's okay. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. No, I didn't go anywhere. But yes, I hated that very much.
Could think that everything just...
Also, yes, for example, we were worried about the eruption, I mean, here in Puebla, or probably in many places close to the volcano, it's pretty normal to have ashes or to see the news, that now we are on phase yellow 3 or things like that, and nobody cares anymore. But in that moment, I was really, really scared. No, I mean, but it was the first time I felt nervous about that. But yes,
it caught you off guard.
Yes. Also, for example, the prices of vegetables and stuff got not super expensive, but yes, they got higher because of the production. Also, the places that produce these vegetables the most are the ones that are closest to the volcano, no? So
yeah.
And I was really worried, like if this goes on like that, I mean, the economy, the prices of the fruit and vegetables is going to be horrible. you know?
Yeah.
So I'm very happy it didn't happen. That's written.
And let's hope it never does.
Yes.
Let's hope it never does. However,
I'm crossing my fingers.
Me too. Me too. Every single one of them. And I have many. Hypothetically speaking, let's say that something goes down. Mixing both situations. Eric, let's say that a natural disaster strikes while you were in the middle of maybe another trip or maybe another experience. Do you consider yourself prepared for that to happen? And what are the things that you would consider a priority to do?
I'm not prepared. I don't think I have ever taken any precautions or anything. I just, like go with the flow and expect the best. But yeah, I don't really prepare for any kind of emergency or disaster, but I should. I know. And what is the most important thing?
What would you consider a priority to do?
Priority to do, stay alive.
Let's say that a natural disaster goes on steroids. It elevates to a biblical proportions catastrophe that might reach the end of the world. I'm talking about apocalyptic results. And it doesn't have to be natural necessarily. It can be totally be a human made result. I was very interested to listen one of Carmen's points of view in case that happens. So she is our main link for this stage. Carmen, would you care to share with us about that particular solution that you would find for you in case of an apocalyptic situation?
Well, I don't know. I have always thought that, for example, well, I think there's one exception for that if I don't have kids, or someone that depends on me,
Okay.
if the world goes to hell, basically, I would just kill myself. See you later. Good luck. Sayonara. And that's it. It's like, yeah, because I think something like that could really happen, no? Like humans fighting for water, for food, for clothes, for being alive, And as I mentioned before, I am a person that doesn't manage stress really well, no? So it's like, no, I wouldn't definitely stay too long, Yeah, something like that. It's probably, as I mentioned, if I had little children or someone who depended on me, I would stay, and stay as long as I can, but to try to take care of them. But that's it. If I am by myself or with adults that I know can take care of themselves too, I would leave them. Or I will try to convince them to go with me. I mean, not my kids, for example, but people my age or something like that. What? Do you feel okay? Are you happy? Do you think this is worth it? No, right? So let's go. Let's Catch it.
Let's leave. Let's leave this place. Just to put it
Exactly. Yes.
lightly, okay? Moving on to Maripaz. How would you opt for survival? Let's say that something happens. Let's say the world ended, and now we're in the post-apocalyptic phase. Honestly, would you root for survival? Do you think you would be able to adapt to whatever order may come afterwards?
Yeah, I think so. Well, I would opt for survival. I think Carmen's option is valid. It is very cult-like, like let's just end this, and maybe there's a better end for everyone. Yeah, it sounded to me like all these cults that say now the end of the world is coming by. But I'm into the food preservation type of thing, and a lot of friends are also into this hiking and camping. So we are kind of we know what it entails. We know what we have to be ready for, and I think I'm good at keeping calm in most situations because I see a lot of emergencies in my day-to-day work.
Okay.
So I'm always like, oh, okay, you're in a good place now, and like I know you cut your hand, but everything's going to be okay. That's part of my job. So I think I would like to go on, and of course you have to be ready to maybe die in this situation. But I think I would do the best I can to go on.
Right. Alrighty. Alrighty. You have been surrounded by, like you said, by many emergency situations. Erich, you have been surrounded by many fictional storylines when the world ends. Just to mention a few: The Walking Dead, my personal favorite, Mad Max. My question for you is, or my point is, if an apocalyptic event had to happen, what would you prefer? Which one would you prefer it to be? Considering everything that you have seen, everything that you have read, theorized, what would be the outcome that you would say, okay, maybe I'll be able to live through this, or maybe this one is not so bad?
Definitely not zombies. To be honest, I think that would be like almost impossible to survive, especially when you're in a city. Right? But I don't know. It's kind of hard. Maybe like in Armageddon, no, the asteroid falls in the ocean. If it falls in the ocean and you are not close to the shore,
Okay.
maybe you would survive, and then if you survive, probably the nature around you would survive as well. So that would make it easier.
But what about the Terminator? Because that's another thing that it's not very talked about. Like maybe the machines take over. Then the AI, which is very present nowadays, it's making art, it's making pictures, it also makes videos. What if Skynet takes over?
That's even worse than the zombies.
Oh, really?
Because it's an army, but it's really smart. So that would be really hard. I mean, like if its goal is to kill all humans, I don't think we would win. Right? Even
Especially because
humans use the strongest weapons we have, we would probably kill ourselves in the process.
natural selection, the next step of evolution, machines take over. But we'll be back. I just want to throw that in there. I just wanted to throw that in there. Guys, this has been very learning for me, and I hope for our viewers as well, to get to know your intake and your perspective on some situations, some theories, and some hypotheses. Thank you so much for participating today. And as I always say, you're always welcome in the Let's Talk show. Yeah! Alrighty. And for all of our viewers, that's it for today. Thank you very much for tuning in as you do it week by week. Stay tuned for our uploading of this material to help you with your English. Practice it every day, and we also have our conversation sessions. Maripaz was with us, Carmen was with us, Erich was with us, who was also in the controls. Poncho was in charge of editing. I am Mike. Goodbye, and good night. Bye.